The first thing is to understand what happiness is. I define it as being happy independent of any particular experience. Therefore, we are unlimited to any particular experience, which essentially means that we are free from all human experience, which is the highest freedom that we can find in this actual lifetime. Happiness is the nature of our being. Happiness is the absolute nature of our mind. And I'm not saying that it's like, oh, it's happy, pretty, it's got this, like, no. It's the substance that the mind is made of, consciousness, is by nature of it existing what we call as a human being happiness. We're using limited language here. It's the best word that we can use to describe it. It's not that it's got happy feelings and it's a happy consciousness. No, it's the consciousness by nature of existing without resistance. It's what we call as human beings happiness. That's it. Okay? Happiness is not a feeling. It's not a state of mind. It's not an emotion. It is it's the nature of your experience, that just what your experience is naturally without the resistance to it. Okay? That's what we call happiness. So it has to be understood as a negative word. The same way that we use the word whole. We're not talking about a hole. We're not saying, oh, look, there's this hole and I can put my finger through it. Whole is not pointing to an object, it's pointing to the lack of an object. Likewise, when we say happiness, we're not pointing to a thought, a feeling, a state of mind, an emotion. We're pointing to the lack of resistance. And the lack of resistance, when that's not there, whether you're excited, happy, joyful, or at peace, doesn't matter what form it is, we call it happiness. You might not always be ecstatic. You might not always be, feeling eternal bliss. But it doesn't make a difference. As long as you're not resisting your experience, you are at peace, and that's what we refer to as happiness. The second thing is that we have to be 100% convinced that nothing in the world can make us happy. And I mean that it can't just be an idea. Okay? You've obviously heard, and you obviously know if you're listening this far into this video, that nothing in the world can make you happy. The problem is if you're still not unconditionally happy, then you are not fully convinced. You are not fully convinced. It's just an idea in your head at this stage. You have to be 100% convinced that nothing can make you happy. Because when you're convinced by that, you realize that nothing can make you unhappy. So it's important that Ramana Maharshi would say, if you have any desire in the world, if any desire to find happiness, go and find it. Go look for it. Don't worry about spirituality. If you have any desire to do anything like that to find happiness, just go and do it. The wisdom in what he's saying there is that you are going to need to convince yourself that happiness does not exist in the world. Because unless you convince yourself, you won't be fully convinced. Now, in Ramana Maharshi's suggestion, you don't have to go and actually do those things. You can use thought. Thought can create an experience, and your body doesn't know the difference between the actual experience or the thought about it, right? If you think of a lemon or a sour lemon, your mouth will salivate, right? You don't need to go to that experience in order to recognize and be convinced. So we can do thought experiments to convince ourselves that absolutely there's no happiness in experience whatsoever. The third thing is to know that the only action or thought that anyone ever thinks or does is always in the direction of happiness. Now, this isn't because we all want to be happy and everything. No, it's because it's like gravity, right? We're using happiness. It's a limited form. We could call it truth. We could call it reality. We can call it, but we just call it happiness because it's more accurate in terms of like the experience of it. If you think of it like this, every thought, every action is consistently moving in direction of happiness. Like I said, not because we all just want to be happy, because it is the nature of our mind. So the mind, if you think of it like an elastic band, if it stretches away from the natural shape that it's in, it will gradually want to come back. And the intelligence of our mind is always coming back to itself. We are always coming back into ourselves. It's like gravity. It's not that there's some being that's there just like, oh, let's just try and make sure everyone is happy. What can we do? It's just gravity. It's like water getting to sea level. It just flows. It just happens. There's no reason for it. other than that it is the nature of what we are. And when we realize that, we see quite clearly that, okay, so if every action that I can take is always in either direction of happiness or in expression of happiness, if it's the only action that we could ever possibly make, why not go the quickest path to get there? Think about it, if it's the only thing that we are ever going to do is either find happiness or share it, why not make that the primary focus of our life? It's already the primary focus of our life. We're just not aware of it. Or we're not fully conscious of that. So we take care of other things and we avoid it and we do. Every single moment of your life is spent in the search of happiness. Every single thought that you think, the reason you have consecutive thinking and anxiety is because you're struggling to find the next thought that's going to bring you happiness. And then you're getting anxious because you can't find it. That is literally the cause of all our suffering, is that we're trying to look for happiness and we can't find it because we don't know where it is and there's nothing that's making us happy right now. And then, that made me feel good. That made me feel happy again. Oh, there we go. Never mind, I'm fine. Oh no, wait, where's happiness again? I can't find it. Thought. Memory. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do that. This is how we get addictions, because we don't know where happiness is, and we're like, well, this drug gets me happy, so I'll just do that instead. So you can see how we get addicted. We're always seeking happiness unless we're sharing it. Okay, that's the next point. I can't overstress that enough. It seems like such a nonchalant thing. It's extremely important to know. The fourth thing would be to recognize the nature of your mind and see that it is happiness itself. Now, we're not going to have enough time on this video, but I share it in a lot of other videos, and I have a free community where I show you how to do this every single day. Well, 4 times a week, not every single day, but quite often, where I can show you how to do this. But the fourth thing would be to recognize the nature of your mind, to see that this pure essence of consciousness has no limitation, has no form, has no size, has no shape, therefore is unlimited, beyond time, beyond space, therefore experiences everything, permeates everything, yet isn't limited to anything. And when we experience that directly, there's no resistance to our experience because there's nothing left to look for in that sense. So this pure recognition of the nature of our mind, which is unrestricted to anything in experience, we realize that there's no more resistance to experience, and resistance is suffering. Resistance is suffering. Resistance is the only cloud that covers the sun of happiness. Happiness is always shining. There's just clouds of resistance that seem to veil that shining of happiness, which is what we call suffering. And then we look for things in the world again to try and find happiness. It's like walking around the planet trying to find gaps in the sun, gaps in the cloud, instead of just going to the sun itself. And we can go there right now directly by simply being alive. If you're alive right now, you're experiencing happiness. That's happiness. Doesn't mean that we're super at joy, doesn't mean we're ecstasy or spiritual bliss. It just means that you're not resisting your experience. You're at peace. The problem is you don't believe that that's where peace is found, so you keep then instantly going into resistance and searching for it again. So what you can essentially do is when you recognize that, which I show you in my community, you then recondition the beliefs that have made you believe that happiness is outside you. And recondition the beliefs that make you believe that you are something other than pure, infinite being. And this gradually makes happiness more and more prominent, more and more obvious in the actual content and the day-to-day experience that you have. And the last point is to not subscribe to any type of thought that tries to take you towards happiness. So any thought based on lack that tries to take you to find fulfillment in the world, notice those thoughts. Those thoughts, they perpetuate every time we energize them. So notice when they occur. And when you notice that they occur, you're gradually going to be able to unravel them. You'll feel the urge, you'll feel, I'm unfulfilled, I'm feeling bored, I feel like lack, I feel like this moment is uncomfortable on its own. What can I do to fulfill myself, to remove this feeling? I know, I'll put on a Netflix show. Or I know, I'll grab some alcohol. Or I know, I'll smoke a vape or a cigarette. Or I know, I will do something. I will just do something in the world that will take my feeling away and give me some temporary feeling, or I'll check a YouTube video, or I'll read a spiritual book, or I'll try and meditate my way away from this feeling. It comes in all forms. Spiritual, non-spiritual, material, non-material. The seeking takes all forms. So this would be the final step, is to then continue to recognize the thoughts that take you away from happiness, and instead go to your being, go to the place happiness exists. Don't avoid the feeling, go into it, go into the feeling of boredom, go into the feeling of lack, go into the feeling of unfulfillment, and recognize why it is there based on the rest of the video that I've shared with you. And you pretty much can't go wrong at that stage. So I hope you found value. Like I said, free community, links in the description. Show you how to do this 4 days a week. And I am looking forward to seeing you there. Take care. Bye-bye.